Hello, Dr. Stephen Mujay here, and I'm coming in to record about server roles. At this point, you should have installed Windows Server 2012 or Server 2016 or even Server 2019. Okay, so the demonstration that I'm going to do here is going to be based on Server 2012. You can see that it's installed. And now I am in Server Manager within the virtual machine, as you can see. And if I go to Administrative Tools, you'll see that there's the default stuff. And the main thing that you want to install Server 2012 for is to have roles like Active Directory, Domain Services, DNS, DHCP. None of those are installed on here yet. So this server at this point is, it doesn't have those roles, meaning that it's not quite functioning to the capabilities that you would want when you are using this network operating system. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into Server Manager. Okay, and in Server Manager, there is I'm going to click Add Roles and Features. All right, so once I click that, that should take me to this wizard, through this wizard, where you can click Next, and I'm going to click Role-based or Features-based installation because this is not a remote installation. And then I'll click Next. You can see that for this server, the IP address is listed there, 192.168.230.129. So that's the IP address for this server. And these are the different roles. And that's the focus of this week, different roles. Active Directory Certificate Services is selected. There is a description of how it works. The one that you want is Active Directory Domain Services. This is what will make this into a domain controller. And Active Directory Domain Services stores information about objects on the network and makes this information available to users. This comes with the feature group policy, and most people confuse group policy. Group policy is not actually a server role, but that's a feature that comes along with Active Directory Domain Services. So far, only the file and server storage is installed out of the 12 roles that are available. So we are going to go ahead and click Active Directory Domain Services. Once we do that, you can see all the other stuff that come with Active Directory Domain Services, and I'll click Add Feature. And then from now, it's going through the wizard, and we'll just, if there's some specific features that you want, depending with the nature of your business, you can select these different features. BitLocker is one of them. In there, the wireless LAN service, the Windows Server backup. Those are different features that are available within Active Directory Domain Services. But as of right now, we're simply interested in group policy management, because later on, we are going to be looking at group policy. All right, so after that, we click Next, and then Next, and then there is a summary of what we are doing there. I'll go ahead and click Install. That process should be going on right now, the installation of the Active Directory Domain Services. And that shouldn't take long. I know this is in the virtual environment. All right, so that's going on. All right. I can go ahead and close that. and then after closing that, I had, in order for that to be active, obviously, it has to be restarted, and that process is still ongoing. All right, so if I wanted to add other roles, like if I wanted to make this into a DHCP server, I would go through the same process. Excuse me. All right, so that now is because of the server is currently available with that installation of Active Directory domain services in the background. This will not be able to continue. So I would have to give it some time and let that installation go. So I'll pause here for a minute and then I'll come back when it's ready. Right, the installation is completed. In previous versions of Windows Server, you needed to run DC Promo, but that changed with Server 2012. You no longer need to run Server Promo. Now that Active Directory Domain Services is installed, you can see this notification within Server Manager. And from here, installing it is the first part. And then the next thing now is to promote this to a domain controller, which is what I just selected. All right. So, and then now it's going through the prompts, add a domain controller to an existing domain. We don't have an existing here, or add a new domain to an existing forest. We don't have an existing forest either. So we are adding a new forest. All right. And then now you need the domain name. And I'm going to give it the domain name ITT 121. That's going to be the domain, and output dot local. You can put .com. All right, and then the username. This prevents somebody who's not an administrator from installing it. So that's a good feature. All right, so at this point, it's going through the process. It seems like I do have an error here, so let me see. Oh, I typed, I didn't realize that I didn't select the correct one here. I typed the name while it was listed on there. That was not supposed to be the case. So it was supposed to be add a new forest. I talked about it, but I didn't make the selection. So that was, I'll make it .com and then next. One thing that I should have done is change the domain, the computer name. That is what I should have done. I hate looking at that generic name. So I'll put in the password. All right, and then next. And then Active Directory requires DNS. So that's something that we are also going to do to during this installation. It's going to tell us that it has not seen DNS, and I left out that option of the raw by on purpose. So okay, so this is the NetBIOS domain name that I going with. it's verifying that. All right, so these are the databases that are on this server. You can change them, but we'll go with the defaults. All right, so it's listing, and notice that it's also the DNS server it has selected yes. So that row is just going to come along with Active Directory domain services. All right, so it's verifying the prerequisites for domain controller operation. That what it's going through as of right now. All right, so all prerequisites checks passed successfully, and now the installation can begin. Now it's going through the actual installation of Active Directory domain services, which is not installed by default when you install Server 2012 or the other network operating systems. All right, so now it's waiting for DNS installation to finish, as you can see. All right, the G Group Policy Management Console is being installed. That's critical because in the coming weeks, we're going to take a look at group policy. So this installation here, or this verification, is what's setting us up for what we are going to be doing in the upcoming weeks. Okay, I'm back. The installation is complete. Now you can see I'm showing 3 rows: Active Directory domain services, DNS, as well as the file and storage services, which was there before. So if I were to go into administrative tools, at this point, now I have Active Directory users and computers, Active Directory sites and services. I have DNS in there. All those came as a result of the installation that I did. All right, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I could add additional rows. It would be the same process as before. Okay, so let's say this time I want DHCP, and there are some features that come with DHCP as well. All right, so I'll hit continue, next, and then I'll go with the defaults and then install. So now DHCP is being installed, and of course, with DHCP, after it has been installed, you can go in and set the different scopes, whether it's IP version 4 scope, IP version 6. That can take place only after you have added the DHCP server row. All right, so there's not much to see here. While it's installing in the background, we can close that, and DHCP should be up and running. And I know I mentioned about the Active Directory users and computers. I'm going to go in there, and right now we don't have any users in here yet, but later on in the coming weeks, you'll be looking at how you can create users, groups within the Active Directory domain services. All right, so that's it as far as this week is concerned. It was a quick rundown of the different roles. So you'll be writing about the different roles that pertain to your organization. I simply installed these 3 here, but as you can see, there's a wide range of other roles that you can deal with. And in the coming weeks, we are going to be seeing how those can be configured. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, and have a good one.